The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of July 8th, 2019. I'm Taylor Cooper. This is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, what up, Reevy?
That's got to be a Homer Simpson because the pitcher just went, go!
What up, CJ?
Oh, man.
Andrew DeCecco is here this week with us. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's going on?
So, I just want to start the show off by saying one thing, that I'm not right on this show very often. And the fact that the Kawhi Leonard whole thing went down with him going to the Clippers, I immediately felt fantastic about it. I felt fantastic about it. I'm not right very often on this show.
I don't even remember you saying that.
I've said it I've said it every time we brought up his name, that I thought he was going to be a Clipper.
That is true. I remember.
Or that he was going to stay in Toronto. And I just wanted to start off the show by saying that it was an amazing thing for me to wake up in the morning. First of all, that whole thing was crazy because it happened while we were sleeping. Well, at least while I was sleeping. I was dead asleep. And I wake up in the morning, and all of a sudden I find out that Kawhi...
Set the scene. Birds chirping.
Birds chirping. What day was that? It was Saturday, right? Did that happen? Or was it...
How mad are Lakers fans?
It was right after the 4th of July. So yeah, I woke up. I passed out early on the 4th of July because, as I've talked about on the network before, Finn hates fireworks. So I just was laying down with him, chilling while the fireworks were going off, and I just passed out. I wake up in the morning. My phone is just littered with ESPN notifications and Twitter notifications, people talking about Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, and I go in, and I'm reading this shit, and I'm so pumped up, not because I'm a Clippers fan or anything like that, but just A, because he didn't go to the Lakers, which is awesome, and, I mean, Paul George going there is a huge deal, and now you look at it like Westbrook's on his way out. The whole thing, like, that whole scenario is so crazy. To me, there's nothing in professional sports as crazy and more or less unpredictable as NBA free agency.
You know what's weird that happens all the time that I've noticed with superstars in the NBA? There's this zone where they are king of the world. And in their own minds, I mean, in LeBron's own mind,
yeah,
he is literally the king. That's what they call him. That's how he, I would assume, perceives himself.
Yeah.
They have this zone, this where they're on top, they're performing, they're the best. Right after that comes this like corny, you've fallen off, everyone's forgotten about you, people start to not care anymore zone. And he's starting to enter that, and it's amazing.
Yeah. He's definitely got one foot in that doorway. Yeah.
Kobe got there.
Yeah, he
and
did. Yeah,
people were disrespecting Kobe.
So
They're
did
saying LeBron's next.
Iverson did.
Right.
Iverson definitely did.
I mean,
the whole practice.
Didn't Shaq? I think Shaq played for the Celtics.
Yep. Yeah.
Fat Shaq.
Yeah.
I think he played for the Celtics.
The end.
Like towards the end. And
yeah.
like, they always have a sad where like complete disrespect.
Even Karl Malone and Gary Payton at the end.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's what this is starting to become. Steve Nash, same thing. With the Lakers, you look back at that, what a disaster that was. So people don't want to play with LeBron anymore. They want to be the next one.
Right.
I think they kind of think playing with him is kind of corny.
Right.
So Anthony Davis, I don't know how much of a choice he really had. He had to go to LA, and I think he more looks at it as this is going to be my team soon.
Right.
So I don't know if he looked at it more like I'm going to play with LeBron. I don't think anybody looks at things that way anymore. They want to be the next guy.
Right.
So yeah, I love that that's happening now because
it makes total sense.
He's been a little too full of himself the past decade or so.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Kawhi because he is that caliber of like a superstar, or certainly can be, but he's so quiet and like just to himself. The most you get is that gif of him, what it do, baby? Like that's all you get. And like the weird laugh that he did before the season, like that's the body of his social media presence, basically. Is just those two things. Other than that, there's no controversial interviews. There's no, yelling at people after the game. There's no extensive Instagram videos or stories or anything. It's just him playing basketball. That's it. Keeps his mouth shut and lets his ability and talent and everything that he puts into it talk for himself. And I like that about Kawhi. I like LeBron as a person. He does a lot of great things for his community and others' communities as well.
But just that he wants
generally
to be
speaking, a great guy, but just God damn it,
he wants to be a media mogul.
Yeah.
So his first show is, dude, why don't you guys just record me talking to friends? That'd be great, right?
In a barbershop.
No, you have to have a hit show. You kind of have to put a little bit of effort into things.
Well, and
I've already seen 4 shows like that.
We've talked about Space Jam 2 on the show, but how silly it is that it's his production company that's making it and this and that, and then it's on ESPN. He made an Instagram or a tweet post about it, and he's like, I can't believe I'm working on Space Jam 2. It's just the greatest thing ever. I'm like, what do you mean you can't believe it? You're doing it. It's not just they picked you. Somebody just called you up and was like, hey, LeBron, we're doing Space Jam 2.
Right.
You're the obvious choice. He actually called somebody who was like, yo, bro, I want to make Space Jam 2. I want it to be featuring me. I want to slam dunk on the Monstars. This is all about me. And what do you mean you can't believe that it's happening? Of course it's happening.
Of course, Warner Brothers took your check to license their characters.
Yeah.
That's if I was a billionaire and I have a massive birthday party and I'm like, I can't believe Eric Clapton came to my birthday party to play just for me.
When you invited him.
Yeah, he would look at me and be like, dude, you're paying me to be here.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's so corny.
It'd be hilarious if Space Jam 2 debuts as a made-for-TV movie on the Cartoon Network or some shit. You know what I mean? Just total flop. How High 2 was ended up being a MTV shit. Who knows?
If Bill Murray's involved, I'll check it out.
Where do you exactly? I agree. Where do you think that Westbrook is going to end up?
Looking like they're saying the Heat.
Yeah, it sounds like Miami.
So, that makes sense because I thought it was kind of funny that Jimmy Butler went to the Heat and then they traded away their best player, Richardson.
Right.
And I was wondering if Jimmy Butler was like, oh, dang, you guys didn't tell me that was going down.
Now we talked about before Jimmy went to Miami. We talked briefly about what we thought. Some of the pros and cons of him going to the Lakers, kind of bashing heads with LeBron, etc. How do you think that the Russell Westbrook thing would play out between the two of them? Do you think that they would clash? Not that any of us know them personally.
Yeah, because I think he probably had conversations with some of those guys.
Yeah.
That's why I think he went to the Heat. It seems weird that he'd be totally on board with that because it was his decision. They can't do that sign and trade without it.
Right.
So I have to believe he had conversations with some guys saying, down the road, we're coming to the Heat to join you, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. I don't understand why he would go there. Because, I mean...
The weather.
Yeah, I mean, all right, if you're going there to just... He seemed pretty...
He wanted to go there
be
before
in Miami. All right, so what are your other options?
That's where he wanted to go before they sent him to Philly.
But he played for 2 tropical teams in Chicago and Minnesota. I figured he'd be all
yeah.
All right,
sunned out.
A little off topic, but still with the same sport. How does everyone feel about the 76ers misspelling Butler's name in their thank you tweet?
I didn't even realize that happened.
It was Booter.
Yes.
Is that what it was, really?
Yes.
That's the way these things work, though. There's a social media guy, and his boss probably tore him a new one the next day.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. Somebody says, yo, we got to put something together for a thank you to Jimmy Butler. And some guy, boom, boom, Adobe, Photoshop, blah, 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 click, click, click.
Thanks, Jimmy, for
send.
playing a quarter of a season and being the only guy who showed up in the playoffs. Sorry.
Sorry, we couldn't
Sorry,
get
we
your
spelled
name
your
right.
name wrong.
I think the thank yous are a little overboard, though. It's like he played for half a season for the team.
No, I mean
They didn't do shit.
it's good, but I mean like doing Novak spell stuff wrong all the time. I double check everything.
On the same token,
And Butler actually shows up on spell check, but it's an actual word.
right,
Yes.
it's an actual word.
Yeah,
Another
he got fired.
JJ apparently took out like a 2-page ad in the paper thinking Philly. I didn't see it, but I saw that happened.
I can't.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. It's a local Philadelphia sports writer. Can't remember his name. I'm picturing him. I just can't remember his name.
What's that?
Shoot. He used to write for. You know what? I think he's got the same first name as me too. Kevin. Older guy. I think he's semi-retired. But
Kevin
he had a great-
Stevie.
Yeah, Kevin
Like
Stevie.
Kevin Stevie.
It's Kevin Stevie.
Kevin Reevey, it's
You
Kevin
nailed
Stevie.
it. Kevin Stevie. He covers the Knicks. It's Kevin Stevie.
Kevin
Knicks.
Stevie Nicks covers the
Yeah,
Knicks.
dumb joke. Anyway, yeah, you're gonna make me lose my train of thought. He put out a nice tweet where he was like, "For once, I'd like to see somebody take a full page ad saying, you know what? Fuck you guys. The city sucked. The food is awful.
yeah.
You guys were mean to me, and I hope you boo me when I come back.
Right.
So screw you guys."
Well, I mean, Philly's gonna be nice to Jimmy. I think the first time we said, not in the playoffs though. If we see Miami in the playoffs, this year.
We're not gonna be seeing Miami in the playoffs. They don't have a whole lot going on for them right now.
Exactly, which is why we could see him in the first round when we're in the first place and they're in the
Which
last
is
place, in eighth
Crazy
place. Rather.
because if they do make these moves, I think we're still not seeing them in the playoffs.
It could be.
I mean, Westbrook
He's a disaster.
is not good anymore. I don't
Jimmy
think he can play
Jimmy
team
Butler
basketball.
will punch him by Thanksgiving.
You think so?
Yep,
Yeah.
he
If-
goes there.
You think if Westbrook, like if they made a serious 3-on-3 basketball league, that's where Westbrook would be maybe a top 3 player in the league.
Yeah.
But when you have to incorporate other players, he's not great.
Yeah,
at that.
literally nobody wants to play with that guy.
So Ice Cube's league, he would do good.
Right.
Yeah.
The
big three.
The big 3.
Yeah. Dude, I would love to see Russ Westbrook in the big 3, dude. I would watch that shit every week.
What if they just did that? What if they signed Westbrook to like a $40 million deal
Oh, dude.
per year?
That'd be
And he's like,
insane.
yo, the big 3 now.
Or
Count-
bring back the M1 basketball team.
Oh, dude, count me in. Count me in. Andrew, we haven't had you on the show in a couple weeks. What is new with you? What have you been doing?
We need a football fix.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do. It's coming.
So for the next, I guess since the end of June, I've been collaborating with Jeff Mosher. He's been covering the Eagles for 15 years, and we're kind of doing point counterpoint articles every day, Monday through Friday until training camp. So we're kind of bringing a unique aspect that fans don't get to see, kind of like an insider's perspective.
It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, like training camp battles and players who are likely to be traded and why. He'll name a player, I'll name a player, and we'll get into it. And it's just we just have like a discussion, and people seem to really like it. And as we move forward here, I'm gonna have a ton more content. We're gonna get into our NFL predictions, our NFC East predictions, Eagles 53-man roster projections. It's gonna be good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the one I think I read last week, maybe the week before, just jumped out at me. The guy on the Eagles who is just so fascinating, Mailata. What are your thoughts on him? I think Jeff was covering that part for that particular article, but what are your thoughts and what are his thoughts on, like, can he be a starter? Can he be a star?
So it's interesting. Actually, today's piece that I'm writing for tomorrow, I'm actually taking a spoiler. I'm taking Halapulu Vaitai as the player who may get traded. If you look back at the last couple of years,
Tackle.
they've kept 9 offensive linemen, and they moved Vaitai to guard during OTAs and minicamp. Now they really like Matt Pryor, who they drafted last year in the 6th round, and you got Dillard and you got Wisniewski, who's going to be the backup center. People think he's going to be the guard, but he's going to be the backup center. And where exactly does Big V fit in? He has a lot of trade value, and I think he's going to be one of those. Maybe Joe Douglas takes a look at him.
Is that a thing too, where like they've had so many injuries and Peters has gone down? 2 years. Was it 2 years in a row now? He's gotten hurt. So is it one of those things where they could keep an extra man just because?
Sure
that
they
position
could.
Is so important.
And the reason being is, you have 2 backup tackles. In theory, you'd have Mailata and you'd have Dillard, none of which have played an NFL snap. So knowing, listen, Jason Peters has left parts of 11 games last season. It's only going to go up this season. That's just the way it goes. He's going to be 37 years old. So, can you turn to an Andre Dillard or Mailata to step in? But hey, guess what? Go protect Wentz's blind side. I don't know that you can do that. And Matt Pryor is a tackle and a guard too, but again, he's never played. So, you may have to keep Vaitai. Or they may end up adding somebody off the scrap heap, when the final cuts are being made.
And you know what? Just to give some background, like, nobody knows who we're talking about. Jordan Mailata. Was he a rugby guy?
Yeah,
an Australian rugby guy.
He never played football until he came to the Eagles last summer.
Google him, Jordan Mailata.
He's going to be really good.
Guy.
He's enormous.
And there's a lot of insiders talking right now that know a thing or two about the Eagles. You, Mosher, you guys referenced a tweet from somebody else. Big.
Ross Tucker.
Yeah, Ross Tucker said something along the lines of, mark it down. Mailata is going to be a star.
And Ross Tucker played in the NFL as a tackle for the Browns and I think a number of other teams. So he knows what he's looking at, and
he's one of the best out there.
He's really good.
You want insider information? He's literally one of a handful of guys in the NFL media right now that knows what they're talking about.
So that's an interesting point that you brought up, Mailata, because I think that there's going to be a big storyline surrounding him this summer. Did he make that leap? Did he add the weight? Does he look more fluid? Has he learned from kind of redshirting last season? He's going to be a guy that you look at. Sidney Jones is going to be a guy that people look at because, look, this is year 3. They took you in number 43 overall in the draft, just 2 years ago. So, I'm sure the plan isn't to have Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby start. I'm sure they would like Sidney Jones to step up and take that role, but he's got to prove it. He's got to stay healthy.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see if this is a new trend that, in the early 2000s, you saw teams take, former basketball players at tight end, Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, those kind of guys, looking for the size and athleticism that you need at the tight end position. And then now it might be, if you're looking for athleticism at tackle, the perfect sport for that would be those big dudes playing rugby.
Yeah,
because you take a late round flyer on them, and you spend a year essentially redshirting them and kind of acclimating them to the NFL life, get them around the good coaching staff, and kind of just let them sit back and learn. I think that's a good point.
Yeah,
and they don't have to learn how to throw a tight spiral overnight. They got to.
Right.
It's not easy being an offensive tackle in the NFL, but to be honest, they're just mashing into dudes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
but
the extent of what they need to remember is which plays are obviously run plays and which ones are pass plays. And
on the flip side, they're protecting $100 million quarterbacks, so they have to be somewhat athletic and know their blocking assignments, obviously. But
I think that I'm struggling to remember what sports site had them ranked, but I saw somewhere that the Eagles' offensive line is ranked number 1 in the NFL going into this season.
Yeah.
And that got me very excited. Obviously, we've talked many, many times about Carson Wentz and our fear of, further injury, more injury, what happens now, Nick Foles is gone, yada, yada, yada. But that made me really happy because I would really like to see Carson Wentz develop his pocket passer ability. Obviously short spurts as far as running is fine, but just protect yourself. It made me feel very optimistic about the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule and I'm like, all right, cool. If the Eagles have the number 1 ranked offensive line in the league, this schedule really shouldn't be a problem.
No.
It really shouldn't be a problem.
That sound you heard was CJ opening a beer.
Ooh, CJ. What kind of beer you got there?
Apparently it's a Genesee Cream Ale Lemon Strawberry.
What do you think? First sip.
First sip is a palate cleanser from the Beer Hates Astronaut I just drank.
Oh.
which is an actually good beer. That's a good idea, though. There should be a.
I think it's good.
It's
I
not
mean,
bad. It's not
there
bad.
should be
it's not like
there should be a Might Be Brews
it's not as bold as the Natter Days,
Natter
but
Days.
it's
where they only deal with the lowest ranked beers available.
They're going down the list of I forget what it's called, but it's like the different types of beer that are recognized by like the American Beer Association, whatever, I don't know. But like the first one they did was the classic American light lager or a light beer. I don't know. We had Miller Lite on the last episode, and we're gonna have High Life, one of these episodes coming up soon. They're doing all these like all the low end beers, so to speak. I guess.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I like it. You can't drink craft beer all the time.
Right.
I was at the beach last week and I bought a bunch of Bell's Two Hearteds.
Uh-huh.
And when it's 90 something degrees and the sun's out, you're trying to drink Bell's Two Hearted, like a 7% alcohol beer.
No.
And you just want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
You need the Miller Lights are your friend.
Right.
Embrace it.
Right.
Did the Bruce guys talk about that? Two Hearted is one of the top beers now.
They might have. I might not have been paying attention. Spoiler alert, I don't always pay attention when other people are talking on this network.
If they didn't, it was either them or Randy. I don't know which one told me that, but their consistency has.
They went over a list of some kind that was like the most popular beers, and I definitely listened to parts of that.
Yeah, I believe it was Bruce, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, guys, the name of the show is Must Be Sports. So let's just stop this.
It must be sports.
Well,
And that it's
Can
not
we-
might be sports anymore. It's must be sports.
wait a minute. When is the first preseason game?
I believe it's August 12th against the Tennessee Titans.
Like a little more than a month away.
I love that first preseason game. Anyone that loves football that says, "Oh, the preseason games are garbage," liars.
I watch
Liars.
every quarter, including Game 4. I'll probably be at Game 4, and I don't leave until it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I watch preseason. I usually don't watch game 4, but I do definitely watch game 1 every year. And you're right. There's nothing better than it. I know, Reeve, you don't follow college football, but there's nothing better to me than opening weekend of college football as well.
I love it. I take off every year
Oh,
that opening week.
it's so good. It's so good, and it's this season for college and for pro is just going to be top notch. Because I like, all right, the Patriots are the Patriots, but without Gronk, they're a little bit more
Balanced.
I really don't see a clear cut. This team's definitely going to win, and I feel like that's a change from the past 10 years. So I'm excited about that, and I'm also excited about the NBA season because I feel the same way there. I don't feel like I feel like this is like the first time in probably about 6 years or so that I feel like it's kind of anybody's game, not anybody's, but almost anybody's title to win. So I think that that's all going to be really, really exciting.
The fall is exciting. I mean, September 25th, new season of Survivor kicks off too. So
That's right.
I mean,
That's right. The end of August, right?
it all just happens right there. And you know who's going to be covering it right here? Might Be Sports.
That's right.
I look
Right.
forward
Yes,
to
it
that.
might be a sport.
We go
So-
in depth.
Real quick, we got to address this.
Yeah.
This is going to be like our Jimmy Kimmel, Matt Damon thing.
Oh.
Meredith.
yeah.
It's definitely next week.
Our baseball expert. I have this weird mental block where
Actually, I want to talk about this while you look up the stuff. So
Yeah.
the players started chiming in on this about
Right.
the baseballs.
I mean, this is becoming a big thing, and she kind of kicked it all off.
Yeah.
There's a big story on ESPN today where the commissioner, Rob Manfred, said that, we did not deliberately, Major League Baseball did nothing to deliberately change the ball. We gave no instruction. Whatever was changed, that's by Spalding or whoever makes the ball. So, I mean, that's a pretty interesting statement to come out and say that. He either thinks he has all his bases covered or he's telling the truth. I tend to believe people when they're that, strong with their words, but man, I remember so many people. I remember like the finger wag from Rafael Palmeiro in Congress saying I did not cheat.
Right.
Who was the female sprinter who called it a kangaroo court? She was one of the biggest names in female sports at the time, early 2000s, late 90s.
Remember Lance Armstrong going on a media frenzy talking
Right.
about he didn't cheat.
And still, I take people at their word all the time.
Yeah,
when they're that
I
strong.
want as many Tour de France's as Lance Armstrong.
So the baseball's changed, and it's so funny. If you read Manfred's quotes, I should pull up the article, and I will. But he basically says, why would we change the baseball to get more home runs when all I keep hearing from owners is complaints saying there's too many home runs? It's changing the game. The players aren't happy. Why would I do that? Then at the end of the article, it says, to be honest, I don't know why people are complaining. We polled the fans. They love home runs.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's like, dude, you just contradicted yourself.
Yeah.
You're saying, I mean, obviously they care about the fans more than the owners, right? So the owners might be complaining, but he just said the fans love home runs. Bingo. Dude, that's not a good quote.
Right.
But my whole point was Meredith Wills, who started this whole, controversy 2 weeks ago. We're supposed to have her on 2 weeks ago. Couldn't happen this week. There's another thing, but next week she promised. And
Or
then
reschedule it for 2 weeks from now.
And then, we're going to have a great excuse next week about why she can't come on. But she's awesome. And, man, we don't even have to talk to her about baseball. She's got an insane mind. She's like an astrophysicist and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy.
Well,
It's awesome.
now my question is, so Home Run Derby was yesterday.
Right. So I was talking to her about that. I can reference the conversation I had with her about that.
Like that play where it became, what was it, 40 home runs to 39 home runs in a qualifying part of the tournament.
What was that? What do you mean?
So it was the final four. The two were going off, and it was what's his name from the Dodgers, and I'm gonna have to look up.
Was Cody Bellinger in that last night? To be honest, I didn't watch the very end. I only watched the first round. But
so the second round, when it got to that point, they both tied at 29 home runs. So then it went to another. I think.
Oh right, it was like a home runoff thing.
But was it?
Yeah.
What was it, like a record amount or something?
So, the one guy hit 91 home runs and he did not win the tournament.
Yeah, which is just too
God.
many damn home runs for a home run derby. But that's the whole point. Is that, and they had this thing where if you hit 2 home runs over 450 feet, then you get an extra. 30
you get
seconds.
the
Everybody was getting
440
the
feet.
extra 30 seconds. It became a farce.
No, except a couple of people where it would have become crucial because they got in the swing of things, but they still can hit that 440 mark.
It's just too crazy. And I was watching PTI today, and they're trashing the baseballs. They're trashing it. They think that whoever that was that you were talking about a minute ago is full of shit. I kind of do too.
Rob Manfred, yeah. It's just
There are
Guaranteed-
facts to prove this.
Guaranteed he's not smarter than an astrophysicist. Guaranteed he's
well,
not.
that's what's crazy is that so I've had conversations with Meredith, and she's done extensive research. This article was in the Atlantic. It was massive. She covered every possible avenue of this. So she looked at baseballs, not just from this year to last year, but in seasons past, over the past decade, looked at numbers, talked to players, reporters, everyone, every possible angle. And what it came down to was there's been what it seems like strategic changes over the years. And especially even between last year and this year, the changes are so specific, and it's not like, and I did ask her, is it one of those things where they could have just improved the process? And by improving the process, some things change. Like we talk all the time, like, your local brewery makes a beer and you love it and it becomes a little engine that could. And then Budweiser buys them up and you're like, yeah, it doesn't taste the same. The process isn't the same. They mass manufacture it. Something made it different. So I asked her, is it like that? And there's too many specific parts of the baseball that are different for that to be the case. So it seems like they deliberately changed something. So it would seem by her research that there's too many individual changes for it to be a fluke.
Right.
And it's all designed to make a faster baseball. And it could be one of those things where maybe Major League Baseball had nothing to do with it, but it's like where like golf ball manufacturers are trying to create a better golf ball.
Right.
For like speed and distance. Maybe they were trying to make a better baseball and didn't really think about the consequences.
Right.
And they kind of stayed within the parameters of what they were supposed to do. And they're improving the process and not thinking, oh shit, faster and longer isn't better for the pitchers.
Right.
It's better for the hitters, yeah, but you got to think about both sides of the game. So we'll have her on next week to talk about all that and more. We might even be able to comment on, or get her to comment on some of the UFO stuff on Novak and France's show about a month ago.
Ooh, excellent.
So
let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We got some rapid fire.
Yes, we do.
And I want to talk about the world champions of the World Cup. We'll be right back after this.
So you've been listening to the Might Be News Network, but you still can't get enough each week? Become our patron on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/MBN Network to become a patron and get exclusive content now. For as little as $5 per month, you'll get access to extended episodes of all your favorite shows, as well as perks including MBN merch and monthly giveaways. Just want to support the network? Become a patron for as much or as little as you'd like. Patreon.com/MBN Network. 2 hours of bonus content each week guaranteed. Your contributions will help make the Might Be News Network bigger and better than ever before. Patreon.com/MBN Network.
Welcome back to Might Be Sports. We're all here. It's been a crazy, crazy week in sports in general. We already talked about some mega moves, NBA free agency. We're all pumped up for football.
And hey, it's the last week we get to pretend to be soccer fans. That's pretty much 2 more years, maybe, if the men's team makes it. 4 more years.
Let me tell you something.
For sure, 4 more years, but
I have been desperately researching the National Women's Soccer League. I've been looking at it.
I like the visual of you desperately researching.
Desperately.
Sweat coming down from your chin.
It's been
And
sweaty.
you're just like, honey, towel. And she comes running in and is like, I need this when I'm desperately researching. I don't have time to wipe my brow.
Let me tell you, I'm desperately trying to figure out which team is my team in the National Women's Soccer League, okay? Because the closest one is in New Jersey, and they suck, all right?
You're going to fall into this trap.
The next one is...
You can't make yourself like a sport you don't
I am
like.
going to... No, I do like it. First of all,
no, you don't.
I'm not a huge soccer fan.
Yep.
I do enjoy going to see soccer games. I've been to the Union a few times, more than 4 times. 4 times. More than 4, maybe 5. Anyway, I enjoy it there.
So 3. Okay.
I enjoy it there. I went to go see the U.S. women's national team play an exhibition match.
Friendly.
It was a lot of fun. It was great. It was a great time. So I actually would go see one of these games. I would probably really enjoy it. Sky Blue Football Club is in Jersey. Washington Spirit is obviously, it's like an hour northwest of DC. So it's probably not crazy hard to get there.
Well, maybe it's...
Yeah, but you have the Philadelphia Independents.
What? Who? They're not a real team.
Yes, they are.
Then they are not fully
Oh,
professional.
wait, never mind. They dissolved.
See?
Sorry.
Yeah, well, no, there's been a bunch of, well, not a bunch, but Kansas City had a team. They're no longer a team. They sent all their teams or all their players to Utah. Anyway, there's 9 teams total in the league. Sky Blue, Reign is in Seattle, Orlando Pride, Portland Thorns, Washington Spirit, Chicago Red Stars, North Carolina Courage, Houston Dash, Utah Royals.
I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'll keep open-minded about all this. So, how much do they pay you to go to the games as a fan? How much do you get?
They don't pay you anything.
Okay. So
Wow.
it's
So here's where the hate mail starts.
no. These are okay. These are free games. I get it.
No. Listen, I'm being serious. If you are one of the millions and millions and millions of people that watched the World Cup and enjoyed it,
And now you're done with it.
cheered for these women to win, and want them to get more money, like so many people do,
AKA Snoop Dogg.
it's your move. It's your move.
It is
Yeah,
your
but
move.
that's the thing. Everybody's move is to now stop watching women's soccer. That's been the case for years.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
We'll see what happens.
Why not? That's what the people want.
I mean,
They want to
nobody's-
watch them in the World Cup.
Not
and
many
then
people are
that's it.
watching the men either, though. I mean, obviously the MLS is a big deal. There's more star power. There's more European players that play here that are a big deal.
Well, they also have. So that's a weirder thing though, because they have MLS contracts where if the team were to fold, they'll get shifted to someone else. Like Beckham had an MLS contract where if the LA Galaxy went under, he would be put somewhere else.
Right. Well, a lot of these girls do too. For example, when Kansas City
women,
had a team, they
Girls? What are you?
Women,
what are you
whatever,
doing? Come
whatever,
on, women.
the ladies.
Jeez, you're
the
so
ladies.
disrespectful. Unbelievable.
Oh my god. Listen, I really feel like these girls are
There we go again.
unbelievably
The
talented.
male chauvinist over here.
The females are extremely talented, and they put a lot of work into this. They deserve more money. See, I think that people get thrown off by the equal pay hashtag. It's never going to be equal. It's never going to be equal.
No, but they're getting fucked.
They're getting fucked big time. At least U.S. women's national team.
So to win the purse of men's World Cup, you get $400 million divided amongst your team. The women get $30 million.
Correct.
So they're like, with all the TV, like with everything going into this and FIFA being as big as it is, I mean, I'm not going to say, yeah, the women deserve $400 million, but I'm saying they should at least be over 100,000 or over $100 million.
The question that I keep seeing people ask is, well, what are they worth? What are these women worth?
Yes.
I mean, what's their talent worth? Let me just say something. They're currently obviously number 1 in the world. They just won the World Cup. The lowest they've been rated, 2. The lowest.
But it only makes money when it's in the World Cup. I think you're only talking about
Right.
4 matches that
Right.
pay. So if that's the case, then a negotiation has to be worked out with the broadcasting company in the United States
Correct.
and them, which, by the way, Fox is taking a big, gamble airing this thing.
ESPN
if
is too.
the United States doesn't win.
Oh, you mean for the World Cup? Yeah.
So
Let me just, and then, okay, so since 1930, which was the first FIFA World Cup men's, okay, the U.S. men's team came in 3rd in 1930. 1934, 16th. 1938, did not qualify. 1950, they placed 10th. From 1954 all the way to 1986, they did not qualify. 1990, 23rd place. 1994, 14th. 98, 32nd. 2002, 8th. 2006, 25th. 2010, 12th. 2014, 15th. 2018, did not qualify. So obviously,
But that being said, 6 years ago when they were making kind of a run, that was exciting because they were the underdog.
Correct.
If they would have made a bigger run, it would have been a much bigger deal than the women's team. That's just a fact. It's just the way it goes. Especially because if you don't even factor in anything else but the underdog versus favorite thing, the women of the United States are always going to be a favorite.
Right.
So
Because they're monsters. They're unbelievably talented. They are light years ahead of the competition.
and there's a lot of countries that aren't big fans of women. So you got to factor that in
True
as well.
Now, FIFA is talking about taking it up to 32 teams and doubling the prize purse.
Yes.
There's no telling on whether or not that's going to happen by the next World Cup.
You still have to have the countries like buy into having a women's team.
Right.
Because I mean, you got America, like North America, South America, Europe, Asia, but still Africa and the Middle East. That's a whole different ball game.
I'm just saying, as far as an American team that represents America, I feel as though they're getting the really shit end of the stick. I mean, they're out there crushing it every time they're on the world stage. Whereas, the men obviously are not even close, not even in the same vicinity of high placement in these tournaments. U.S. soccer needs to step up and do the right thing.
Well,
obviously, the National Women's Soccer League is not getting the ratings that they need to. And obviously, me logging on to some obscure website to watch some fucking team in Central Jersey play, it's not gonna. It's like throwing a pebble in a pond. It's not gonna do anything.
And you're not going to do it because you're not interested.
I am interested, and I probably will at least once.
Yeah, you will once because you want to contribute to a cause. But
Jackie and I were talking about it. She watches football with me. She watches football. She watches basketball. She's into these things. She wasn't like as into it as she was before she met me, before we got together and started dating. I wasn't into women's soccer. I couldn't care less about soccer in general. You know what I mean? She's a soccer player. I've gotten into it a little bit more, gone to see some games. I will never not say that soccer flops are my least favorite flops in sports history.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Guaranteed. They're horrendous, especially live. Oh, it's horrible live. But the game itself, I've grown to really appreciate the level of how athletic you have to be to play soccer. How they only sub a very limited amount of times, to the point where, like, if somebody got hurt, like in the final when that when I forget her name, got headbutted, and or they're checking on her, they bring her off the field, they're playing down a person because she might come back in, kind of deal. Like, I think that's gangster. I think that is it's hardcore. Like, you don't see that in any other sport. It's always next man up. It's always unlimited, go in there and sub out, come out here and get a water break and go right back in, kind of deal. You see hockey players, their average line is what? 30, 40 seconds maximum. And these women are out here, these players, not just in soccer in general, they're out there running this enormous field. Some of them for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they don't come off the field. And I really, as a overweight, non-athletic person, I absolutely respect that.
Well, did you see some members of, I believe it was Congress, maybe the House of Representatives, proposed stopping funding for World Cup until there's equal pay for because so countries put into this is part of the purse and everything that goes along with it. The U.S. is saying we might just not give money until it's more equal.
I mean, like I said, to me, it's never going to be equal. It can't. There's a higher level of athleticism. We've talked about that. The ratings say otherwise. The revenues say otherwise. But these, I mean, the maximum National Women's Soccer League contract is less than $50,000.
Yeah. Well, see, I'll be the first one to admit, U.S. is fucking up with sports, international sports.
Yeah.
Because we have extreme sports athletes in the Olympics that other countries, if they were in another country for their sport, their country would totally pay for their ride. We have sports athletes that have to get second jobs to afford the money for the training facility for their sport to try and compete for America.
Right.
And this is not a question in other countries.
Right.
And we're fucking up.
You ready for rapid fire?
Yeah. Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Uh-oh.
Just got a point. Yeah. I'm just saying. We're talking a whole lot about something that only matters every 4 years. That's all I'm saying. We are going to forget about this in 1 month. No one will be talking about it because it only exists every 4 years. So it's an awfully big conversation that happens twice a decade.
National Women's Soccer League is happening right now. I'm going to give constant updates, in-depth
It is happening
coverage.
right now. Will it be happening in 3 months? We literally do not know.
No, because the season will be over by then. Reevy.
In 2020, will there be a league? You literally don't know. It's expensive to do these things, and nobody goes. That's my only point.
Like arena football.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great point. Arena football, great example. People go to arena football in Philadelphia, but they had a really difficult time. I think it was Denver and Philadelphia were the two cities in the last.
Yeah, they have
iteration
6
before
teams
this
in the
one.
league. They play each other like 4 times a season, and everybody makes the playoffs.
So the reason they dissolved last time, when they had a nice, solid, big league, only 2 teams were profiting. And the Philadelphia Soul were giving out huge contracts because they were making money. They could give it out because they were generating it.
That was
Well,
like
they
back in
had
2008.
Jaworski and Bon Jovi, so.
And it was a cool thing, and it worked, and it made sense. But
The quality of play was better too.
Yeah.
I don't see people going to this because they've never really gone to soccer in general. I think at MLS, I kind of think is taking a downturn now.
It is, yeah.
There's less talk. I mean, all I can remember like 10 years ago was just wait, soccer's going to take over. It's on an upward trajectory. It leveled off and now it's bottoming out. So now you want to watch a women's version of that, which has never really ever worked.
Right.
Besides in tennis, which is probably one of the oldest sports ever. And that's, a mano-a-mano competition. Like in that sense, it's cooler. I like that. In that contained environment, it seems to work. Don't know why, but you put like the WNBA, the Women's Soccer League, nobody goes. Nobody's interested. They want to see the best version of these team sports.
Real quick before we move on, just on a hopeful note, as far as this story is concerned, since the end of the World Cup, Budweiser signed on as a full-time endorsement for the National Women's Soccer League, and ESPN is working on playing more of the games, which currently they play 0. So hopefully something like this will help make it more accessible to people who are interested in continuing to watch this. Because I like, as far as sports are concerned, I'm a big fan of these. Not that I watch them, but I'm a fan of the idea of having women's leagues, right? Women's tennis, like you said, that's a separate thing. That's just there, and it's already very popular. WNBA and
Lingerie Football League.
There you go.
That's got a little more legitimate over the years.
But I think
I think that folded though.
I think
no, it's still around.
The Philadelphia?
I don't think
I don't
Philadelphia
know if
team's still
Philadelphia's
there.
But I think that young young women deserve to have active role models that they can just turn on the TV and see, not search for some pirated website to watch them on. I think that's important. I think that it's important for everyone to be able to have an idol that they can easily find, watch, and enjoy. Right? That's how I feel. I just feel like everybody deserves that. And obviously it's not the most popular thing, and it's struggled in the past, but hopefully something like this, a repeated World Cup, now 4-time champions, can really push the envelope, and hopefully like having a big powerhouse endorsement like Budweiser and or ESPN can maybe help push it in that general direction. Because I
That's
feel like
why it doesn't matter what we say. If nobody goes to the games or people start going to the games in droves, then the people are voting with their wallets.
Right.
If they don't go, then I kind of want the argument to die. I'm sick of doing this over and over again all the time.
That's why I'm saying it's up to the consumers now. The World Cup's over. It's up to the consumers now.
Yes, I mean,
if you like, I'm not saying that it's going to overtake any other sport or any other league, but if you want to consume this, it's there. You just have to find it.
It deserves a seat at the table.
Yeah, it deserves a seat at the table. Yeah. Rapid fire.
All right, so it kind of goes with Snoop Dogg. Pay Team USA women's already. Way better than sorry ass men's
Just when
team.
we thought we were out, they pulled us back.
I mean, I agree 100% with everything Snoop Dogg said. I do. They're better than not to say that they beat the men's team, but they're in the talent pool that they play in. They outperform the men's team on a very, very, very consistent basis.
All right. Dennis Rodman not being prosecuted in yoga theft case.
Oh,
yoga theft case?
this was the store.
Yeah,
yeah.
Dennis
All right,
was,
I remember. Yeah, he's not being tried for that.
No. The chick's getting felony charges, but
He was apparently he would converse or create a diversion while his friend or friends stole.
yes, from the same place twice, but he's apparently not.
Which is weird that he wouldn't get involved in that. That's obviously part of the thing. Maybe it's just not provable. He could always at the end of the day just say, hey.
I was just talking to my friend over there.
Yeah, I was just talking to the salesperson. Serena Williams, damaged Wimbledon court, fine $10,000.
Yeah, I heard about this, but I did not see the damage. Have you seen it?
There is no video of this since it was during a practice, but apparently she was hitting the ground so hard that it caused delays for them to fix the surface.
God.
And so that's why they fined her $10,000. But I wish I would have been able to see a video of what $10,000 of tennis court damage looks like.
Yeah. That's a lot of damage.
Barstool Sports sued over famous sad Roger Goodell image.
Is that the clown face?
Yes.
They're sued over it?
Apparently they didn't come up with it.
Oh, so it's not that they're using an image.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it just the image?
No, apparently the whole clown nose and everything is not theirs.
Because I know that Shepard Fairey got in a lot of trouble for making that Obama hope sign when he was
apparently the clown nose and the whole image is not part of Barstool.
There's a documentary coming out.
They had no part of that.
Google it. I think it's through Adam Carolla's company, Chassis Media. I think it's called Meme Gods, coming out, and it's the story of, you don't think about it naturally, but like memes are an industry. And there are people, I never thought of it that way, but there are people that their jobs are to just come up with memes.
That's pathetic.
Fast and smart, witty.
Oh, yeah, you have to make sure they're in there, and you have to make sure there's
guys that make millions.
Watermarks, yeah.
Mega $1 million industry.
And you think about all that competition and being first and all that, and you could see how a company like Barstool, how many people they employ. All it takes is one to kind of see something and be like, I had that same idea, but he got it 10 seconds faster. I'm just going to push it through.
Yeah.
So you can see that happening. There's so much competition, and that it's so weird that we're even talking about this. Competition 100 years ago was like, who can make the fastest jalopy? You know, it's
Right.
like, oh man, like we got the Model T Ford. We're going to work on the Model S. I don't know. It's how to store, energy better. And now it's who can make the fastest meme.
Yeah.
Who can do the better meme? This is interesting.
Times are changing.
Ted Cruz. Cap isn't boasting Nike stock. It's Trump's economy.
Oh, God.
Wait, what's not boosting stock? It's Trump's economy?
Kaepernick's boycott of the Betsy Ross shoes.
Yeah, I heard that the Nike
right.
stock went jumped way up after that.
It shot up, yeah.
That's always going to happen. I mean, when it's any
in the
any
public
news is
eye.
good news,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
going to boost.
But I mean, you also have burning parties where there will be people that will purchase these Nike products at the burning party to burn. And then all of a sudden they'll be born again Nike users. So that's 2 sales right there.
Hey, man. I can't knock the hustle, I suppose. I don't know.
Meghan Markle, no photo at Wimbledon. Chaps, her security bans fan pics.
I don't really even know what that means.
So you couldn't approach her, ask her for a selfie.
Yeah, she's a princess now. Get over it.
First of all, I'm just more insulted that I spent a good chunk of my adult life watching the show Suits on USA. I believe it was USA.
Yes.
And that was Meghan Markle. That was
Yes.
her. And now she's this princess.
Yep.
That you can't
and-
get a selfie with.
It's like this show that nobody watched but me. It's my little thing, and I enjoyed it. And now she's a princess, and people can talk about how they were watching Suits from the beginning. Fuck you, you weren't watching Suits. I put in the time. I feel like I know her, and now I feel like I have to hate her, and that's not right.
Give me one more, CJ.
All right. NFL's McDowell fights cops after being tased. Insane video.
Who?
Malik McDowell.
Yeah. He got tased. As he's getting tased, he's still fighting the cops.
Is he any good? Is
No.
he kind of like a backup guy?
I don't think he ever took a snap in the NFL.
I hadn't heard much about this, but
He was a draft pick. I think they got
the
hurt.
video
and then he
just
never played.
got released today. It's very impressive.
let me just say it's great pod when you tag a story with video is amazing. You got to see it. I'm not doing it justice. You got to see the video.
Well, that's why the video
This
will be
is an
posted
audio
tomorrow
podcast.
with the podcast.
All right, now we're talking.
Let's do go to the week without a sounder because we're running out of time. We got about 2 minutes left. Go to the week. It's obviously the U.S. national women's team. They're the greatest in the world, hands down. In the player pool that they're in, the Netherlands was incredible. England was incredible. France was incredible. And these women, they made it look easy. They made it look really easy. They're the go of the week for sure. What do you got?
I'll go with let's go with Pete Alonso, the Mets rookie, setting all kinds of records for RBIs, home runs by the break. He's got 68, 30 respectively. Respectively, rather.
I was going to say.
Yeah, also respectively. And then he goes and wins the home run derby. That's pretty validating. It's a hard thing. Like the home run derby, I've seen a lot of guys in their first year just totally blow it. Or even their first experience with the home run derby, just blow it. It's a huge stage. Really hard to do. I think he had kind of a weak first round, but he just barely got out of it. And maybe that was enough to kind of, warm him up and get him going. But the guy seems like the real deal. So, look to see what he's going to do in the second half. Who knows? It's weird because, he's batting 280. The batting average is not huge. He wasn't that crazy heralded a prospect. But, I mean, his season already seems set. 30 home runs by the by the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Home run derby crown. So we'll see. Does he go into one of those slumps? You win the home run derby and then your season goes to shit. Last year, Bryce Harper won it, and then his second half was monstrous and helped him get that mega deal. So we'll see. Pete Alonso, hate him because he's on the Mets, but bright future ahead.
Yeah.
The greatest of all time.
Of the week. Honorable mention, Coco Gauff, who just lost at Wimbledon. She did a great job. Anyway.
Wait, Andrew doesn't get a goat of the week?
I don't have one.
You didn't have one.
All right, I didn't hear that.
Andrew, thank you so much for being here this week.
Yeah, man, no doubt.
Really appreciate it. Great job. CJ, fantastic as always.
Thank you.
Reevy, awesome job.
Love you.
Excellent show. Go to patreon.com/MBN Network. Go to mbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier for you to find your new favorite podcast. We are Might Be Sports, and we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening.